Associates podcast. My name's Drew Dixon, sitting here with Scott Pinson. We've changed things up a little bit with this new year, 2023. It's January 4th when we're filming this. So I hope everyone had a great holiday season and ready to take on this new year. But being our first podcast of the year, we were briefly talking, let's take it back to the basics. Scott, he's the fastest at answering a phone and he gets the same questions over and over. And Scott, what's the question you get all the time?
So, Happy New Year. We will have a trivia question that pertains to the Happy New Year later on for a chance to win a John Dixon Associates coffee mug. But yeah, we were just talking, it's the beginning of the year. And maybe it's just a good time to just take it back to the basics. And so let's just imagine that we get a phone call and let's say Drew calls in and says, hey, I've got a property that I might consider selling at auction. What do I need to know? I've never done that before. What are the things that I need to know? And what's the process about this property that I want to sell?
I like role playing.
We could role play, sure.
So let's say I've got a commercial piece of property in South Atlanta. I call up Scott. I've never done an auction. I've got 2.5 acres, commercial land off the interstate. I don't know what it's worth. I've had it in the family. What's the process? How do I see if I want to sell this thing at auction?
Well, I think the first thing that we would say is, what do you think it's worth?
Well, it's been in the family forever. I don't have any, it's paid off. The tax assessor says it's worth $350,000. So that's about all I know.
Do you owe anything on it?
No, I don't know anything.
Okay. The reason why we ask those types of open-ended questions, what do you think it's worth? That helps us figure out what the expectations are of the seller. And if it's a $300,000 property and they come to us and say, we'd like $30 million for it. Well, I don't know if we can help you.
That's right.
And we don't want to waste people's times. We're in the business of getting things sold. And that's why we ask those questions. So I think the next thing that I would ask for is send me a little bit of information about the property. Send me what you have. Send me the address if you have a tax card, if you know the tax ID number, if you have a survey. Just send me everything you have about the property. There still is no obligation. And one of us is going to go take a look at that property. So we're a real boots on the ground type of company. One of us will go down there and take a look at it. Excuse me, and we'll figure out what we think it'll bring. Now, that's like looking into a crystal ball. But again, we're trying to set expectations on what we think something will bring at auction. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, sometimes it brings a lot more than what we think. And when you get a property in a competitive bidding environment where people can bid against each other, we've seen values go up. We've seen them go way up. We've seen them go over appraised values. We're just not going to promise a seller that. We're going to try to lower their expectations. That's how we make people happy on auction day.
Well, let me ask you this. If it's something we do agree, you tell me a price that I'm willing to sell for, what would it cost me to sell with you?
That's a good question. So in the auction business, we charge an upfront marketing fee, and that pays for all of the marketing that we do in the times leading up to the sale. So we're going to do a lot of advertising. We're going to do a lot of internet marketing. We're going to put a sign on the property. We're going to produce a color brochure for the auction. And so there's kind of a technical answer and a real answer. The technical answer is, what are you going to be charged for? A marketing fee would be 1% of the property value. But Drew and I, we're going to charge you as much as we can to do an effective marketing campaign, but we're going to keep that figure as low as possible.
That's right. Well, and a lot of people, that's typically the walk through the initial conversation, and it'll get into whether to sell absolute or reserve. a lot of people that have never sold at auction, you know, they're, especially if they've got an emotion, you know, it's a piece of property, they've lived in this house, and, you know, there's a strong emotional attachment. Um, you know, and I tell people, if it's going to keep you up at night on this, someone may steal it, don't sell it absolute. Um, it's not worth the sleepless nights. That being said, you know, I've been in this business since, whew, for 30 plus years. And, you know, I see the difference in things selling absolute and reserve. Yeah, good property is going to bring good prices, whether it's absolute or reserve. But if you've got a property that's got some thorns on it, that's been sitting there, you put a sign saying absolute, where people know that if they've ever had an interest in it, they've got a bid at that time. There is no tomorrow. It puts that urgency and kicks in the that auction psychology that plays such a huge part.
Well, you said the right word, psychology. So Drew and I have no problem telling a seller that they're going to bring more money if they sell it absolute. The reason why is because the psychology is there, that people that are bidding on it know that it's going to sell. That brings exponentially more interest in the property. It brings more bidders. And again, when you have people bidding against each other, that raises the prices. I love to sell properties for a seller that has some properties that are absolute and some properties with a reserve. And one last thing about reserve, we don't ever release that reserve price to the public. So the public has no idea what that reserve price is. But it happens all the time. Some reserve properties, some absolute properties. The absolute properties always bring more money.
That's right.
It's just how it
That's right.
goes.
It just brings everyone out of the woodwork. Um, you know, those thinking they're going to steal the property typically pay the most for the property. It's the psychology of a live auction event is second to none when it comes to selling property.
Well, and John Dixon used to say, the founder of our company, he would say, folks, we don't need an appraiser here today. You're going to appraise this property. The people that are bidding at this auction will appraise this property. And I think it's very fair to say that at auction, the property is going to bring market value for that day.
That's right. That's right. It's going to bring the appropriate market value for that exact time if we've done our job.
That's right.
And we pride ourselves on our marketing. We're a marketing company that does real estate auctions. So take advantage of our services while this market's hot. You know, we talk to a lot of different banks and financial institutions, and by all indications, you know, by middle of the year, this thing's going to be different than it has been.
Yep. So if you're still thinking about getting back to the role play, Drew, let me tell you why. You know, you may be saying, well, why would I use auction to sell it? I'm thinking about listing it. Let's talk about some reasons why someone would want to use the benefits of auction.
Yeah. You know, the auction, the main thing of an auction is you're taking advantage of your time. You know, you may give up that top of the market, you know, offer by not having it listed for 2 years, in exchange for having it cash in your pocket in 60 days of calling us. You know, the auction, you know, it's not the way to maximize your gains unless we're in a crazy market like we've been in and just high competition on properties, and it is. Its main objective is to minimize your losses, as in time, holding costs. You know, those holding costs are getting larger and larger now.
That could be what? Taxes?
Taxes.
It could be HOA fees.
That's right.
Property fees.
Yeah. Someone's having to keep it cleaned up.
Yep.
You've got crews going around. You know, there's great expense in holding a piece of property. And the auction method of selling takes that expense right away.
It does. So if you want to sell something and sell it fast, you know, we typically have a marketing campaign of about 30 to 40 days. We have an auction and then you close in 30 days. So
That's
you're going to get your money 30 days after the auction. So if you want to sell something and sell it fast, that auction is really the only way that I know to do it.
That's right. That's right. You know, the last year before, when you just hinted around at a property going on the market, you had a pile of offers. Not so much right now.
No, it's
Not
not,
so
that's not
much
happening
right
now. And because interest rates have gone up, that means that properties, houses, all real estate is just sitting on the market a lot longer than it used to.
That's right. That's right. And there's, I haven't seen an indication that they won't raise it again. I'm confident that it will get raised again at least a few times. So, you know, now's the time to take advantage of selling your property before, you know, rumors of a recession. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, some would say we're already in a recession. All right, so you get us some information about the property. We've discussed it, what we think it's going to bring. We've gone and looked at it. We've decided between absolute and reserve. The next step is we'll get you an auction agreement, which is basically like a traditional listing agreement in traditional real estate. It's a one-page auction agreement. It just lays out exactly what we're going to do. If anybody ever wants to take a look at that, just see an example, we'll send that to you. Sign the auction agreement, and then we're set to go for the auction. We'll have the auction. Danielle Foreman, our closing coordinator, will prepare the sales, purchase and sale agreement or the contract after the property sells at auction. We turn it over to our closing attorney and close in 30 days.
That's right. Danielle will be coordinating between the attorneys and the buyer and seller and just work to a smooth closing. So it's a simple,
Efficient.
simple process that's not known by enough people.
Yep.
So if you aren't familiar with auctions, please give us a call. Come by the office. We're in Marietta. We'd love to have you come by, take you to lunch. But come see us, call us, reach out to us somehow, and we'd love to talk to you. You can reach us email at scott@johndixon.com or drew@johndixon.com, or call us at 770-425-1141. Check out the website, johndixon.com. I saw you wanted to say something, Scott.
Well, so we kind of covered, you know, when you're selling a property, but the much shorter conversation is that if you're an investor and you want to invest in real estate, which if you've got a little bit of money right now, why wouldn't you want to? You don't want to invest it in the stock market that's going straight down. You may not want to invest it in your savings account.
How about cyber, the Bitcoins and all?
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to invest in Bitcoin right now. So, but come to our auction or go to the website and see what properties we have. You can call us. We're going to give you our opinion on it. It's just a really simple, quick, efficient, clean way to buy real estate too. So it's easy to sell. It's easy to buy with auctions.
We're revving up for our multi-seller auction. It's going to be February 23rd. So if you have anything and you're listening to this mid-January, have any properties you'd like to include, let us know. What that mug. But make sure if you're looking for properties to buy, to join us, plan on joining us February 23rd. Scott, you've teased us long enough.
We have a trivia question.
First one of the year.
It's right at the first week of January. And, you know, we're going back to basics. So I'm going back old school.
Year of the Rat.
We've actually, yes, the Year of the Rat. And if you want to win a John Dixon Associates coffee mug, you know, if you know or think you know or want to guess at the answer to this question, it's one I've done before.
Oh.
So I am going back. And because we just had New Year's this past weekend, in Scottish traditions, who are you supposed to kiss at midnight on New Year's Eve? If you know or think you know or just want to send me an email, scott@johndixon.com. If you're correct, we'll get you out of John Dixon Associates Coffee Mug.
Now,
Who are you supposed to kiss?
Scottish, this is,
In Scottish traditions.
okay, not you.
No, not
Not
Scottish
your
traditions.
tradition. Okay.
No. But I am in favor of the Scottish tradition.
okay.
It's something that I like, a little hint there. And so, who are you supposed to kiss on New Year's Eve at midnight?
Wonderful.
Let us know.
Well, thank you for joining us for our first podcast of the year. Make sure to check us out on our YouTube channel, subscribe, and we can send these to you. If there's a topic you want to hear about, reach out to us. Call us, let us know if you have any properties you want to sell or looking for something to buy. We want to help you out. Thanks again. Have a great day.